The 2018 Commonwealth Innovation Forum, brought to you by Destination Gold Coast.
Dr Anne Snowdon is the chair of the World Health Innovation Network, one of many speakers here at the inaugural TCIF in beautiful Brisbane. Welcome to our lovely city.
Thank you ever so much. I am thrilled to be here.
You've been here for much of the afternoon. You've participated on one of the panels, and we'll talk about that. And you've also received what we call an Akubra hat.
I am so excited about my hat. They are so authentic Australia, and Canadians aren't nearly as clever as the Australians in wearing hats often enough. So I plan to take it back and teach them many lessons about the value of that.
I'm sure. Well, it's great to have you here. Why is supporting innovation, and in particular life sciences innovation, an important priority for governments within the Commonwealth?
Innovation in life sciences, and even more specifically in health systems, will absolutely make the difference between having a viable, sustainable health system for our next generation of children and populations or not. We are currently in every jurisdiction we're working in Canada, US, Australia, UK, and much of Europe. We are delivering healthcare at very expensive costs to our governments and to our economies. We are working not nearly as efficiently as we should be. Medical error is now our third leading cause of death in North America and in parts of Europe. So those are signals that our health system is not achieving the value for the populations it was designed to serve. Innovation is the absolute only solution to change the way we're doing things, measure where we're achieving value for who and under what conditions, so that we can change our systems and achieve the healthcare delivery our populations need and expect at a cost that's affordable. So that's why innovation is so critical in life sciences and healthcare delivery much more specifically.
Within the Commonwealth, we know that there are developing countries and there are countries that are doing particularly well. What can we learn from each other?
We have so many important lessons to learn from each other. Canada, just as one example, has so much to learn from Australia for a couple of reasons. You spend about half of what Canada spends per capita on healthcare delivery, and yet your performance outcomes in quality safety are better. That's a great opportunity for a country with a large geography like Australia has, fairly small population relative to our geography, to learn in terms of how did Australia figure out how to deliver healthcare with such great outcomes and at much lower costs than we have. So for me, and as a Canadian leader, we have much to learn from Australia, and perhaps there are things Canada does well that Australia can learn from, but right now, the way I'm seeing it, I think it could be more of a one-way street.
What about developing countries? Are there one or two that you've been following or you've been hearing about that are doing some good things?
Developing countries I have the greatest of respect for. I have just recently come from a number of Caribbean countries. And despite some real challenges on not having health system infrastructure, not having the health workforce they might need or their citizens might need, they are phenomenally resilient and come up with very innovative solutions to overcome those challenges. So I think the developing countries have much to teach countries like Australia and Canada in terms of how do you innovate in circumstances where there isn't massive or significant resources and workforce opportunities. How do you make a healthcare system work when you don't have all those resources? I think we have a lot to learn from them, and perhaps we can bring some of what we have to level the playing field a little bit as well.
How important is a forum of this nature, bringing delegates or representatives from the Commonwealth nations under one roof?
It's critical. If each country is, and we are all in this essentially doing the same thing, trying to find better ways to deliver healthcare to our populations and achieve and improve quality of life. Imagine how much faster and how much we could accelerate progress if we were all learning from each other rather than reinventing wheels every time we took on a particular challenge. So in my mind, when you put the Commonwealth countries together, we compare notes, we share our respective strengths, then we advance health systems and life sciences much more rapidly together across global jurisdictions to achieve value faster and more efficiently. When we work within our silos, it's too slow. And in fact, our sustainability of our healthcare system is going to require us to work collaboratively to make this happen more quickly. Right now, it takes between 17 years and 25 years to get a new innovative technology or drug or therapy in place in a healthcare system. Why is that? We should be able to adopt those new technologies and treatments across global jurisdictions much more rapidly, but only if we're collaborating and working together and sharing what we know and sharing our respective strengths. No country in the world is going to be an expert at everything. But when you put several countries together and you combine that expertise, now you've got a very scalable and sustainable model to work with.
Do you think the general public understand or want to know or understand more about life sciences innovation?
I think the general public has a great deal, certainly in the Canadian context. They look to the life sciences to make sure that we're solving those really tough challenges like chronic illnesses or cancer or the real big tough challenges populations face. They have a tremendous confidence, I think, in the life sciences. I think they actually expect that we are much better than we are. We're engaging and putting these new technologies, innovations into our health systems faster than is the reality. In Canada, Canadians have an affinity for healthcare, unlike very few other countries. We see healthcare as our identity. And they have great confidence in our healthcare system, but they also have great expectations that we have to meet those expectations. So I think consumers now have access to information we never had, quite frankly, in generations before. Because they have access to all that information, they now have very high expectations that if that health system in that part of the world can do it, why can't mine? So I think it's going to create a very healthy pressure on life sciences and health systems to more quickly and more efficiently create and or adopt and scale innovations so that every citizen has access to what those innovations offer.
Are there certain issues or aspects of life sciences innovation that forums such as TCIF should be focusing on?
There's no silver bullet in life sciences. There are many, many opportunities to really advance the quality of life for our respective citizens. So I would say if I had to pick a few, life sciences should really go after those areas that are going to create demonstrated value for those populations. And in many cases, that's a combination of life science innovations, not just one new drug or new device. It's how do we bring these innovations together and how do we make sure we measure what value are we achieving for who and under what conditions so that it's scalable. Because the last thing I think we want is so that some citizens or jurisdictions have access to that wonderful care and not others. We need to be sure we're scaling what we know works and works well so that everyone has access to that outcome.
What are you hoping delegates will take away from the Commonwealth Innovation Forum here in Brisbane?
I think it's already started to happen. And what I'm already seeing literally after one panel is an awakening to the opportunities. I did not know that's what you were doing in Canada and we're doing this in Australia. Let's work together. So what I see is it creates a forum for collaboration that accelerates innovation like putting rocket fuel into a vehicle. It's going to be much more efficient, much faster, much more effective, but only when we build those collaborative networks where we bring all those opportunities and strengths together. So that's what I see as the real value proposition, and it's very impressive. It's already happening.
Enjoy the rest of your time in glorious Queensland, and thanks for joining us.
It is incredibly glorious. I plan to take advantage of every minute of that before I have to leave this beautiful, beautiful city. Thank you.